Hi everyone, Lord Crew here and welcome to my channel. So good news, we will gonna discuss the Mortal Judgment new cards expansion set. So without further guys, let's proceed. So as you can see, all of this information are all can be found in the Gods Unchained website. So once you go to the Gods Unchained website, go to learn and click blog and just search for the Mortal Judgment. And as you can see, this was just as released as of today, and it will. The main purpose of this one is like to for the players will see a preview on the entire Mortal Judgments set cards. And as you can see, there will be an upcoming PTR where we can like test it, and it's scheduled on April 11 up to April 13 in 8 p.m. Pacific daytime. And there are like total of 190 new cards. So because it's 190 new cards, it will take us time for me like to review one by one. But what we're gonna do is do a quick summary review regarding this one. So let's gonna start with deception. So overall, on this deception, uh, overall on this this god, there are like two things that I noticed. There are like new cards more on the other domain. Like technically, like you can summon creatures from other domain, or like it's the either it's a spell or an ability like roar and stuff. And that's one highlighted that I noticed on the deception. And the second thing is there are like creatures with have like an ability like echo, roar, and tempt where they're like a creature world. They're gonna do a some minus strength or still strength to your opponent. So for example, minus one strength to your opponent's creature, or uh, minus one strength to the strongest of enemy creature. So those kinds of like combination then partnered with an echo. So they're like more on like a echo tempt fate heavily. So that's what I noticed in Deception. So one thing that I think because I mentioned about the other domain, so high chance there will be like a meta for Deception where it's focused on the other domain. And that's it's like I believe like an aggro style where you will like summon a other domain creature, and then use that other domain creature to kill your opponent and also buff your other ability cards of your creature. So one thing is in my list is this Appeal to Mercy. As you can see, summon two random 1 mana war creature and give +1 to them. This is like a 2 casting cost, and because you're summon a 2 random 1 mana war, and high chance I check all the war, a 1 mana war can be like a 2/2, a 2/1, or a 1/1, or sometimes a 3/1. So that will be great because imagine if I use this one and I manage to get a 2/3/1, and because of like +1 strength, it became 4/1. For the 2/2, it become 3/2, and for the 1/1, it become 2/1, or if there's a 2/1, it become a 3/1. So it's still a good card. Like I believe this is still a good card, especially on your first turn. So technically, this give the opportunity for deception as an aggressive, because usually if we mention deception, it's more on control, like either steal control. The only aggro for the deception version is majority a, a hidden, where you play hidden and attack. That's what usually the aggressive version of deception. But this one, it has like more on the other domain. And if I compare that one with the other one, uh like for example, like the Shadow Step Backstabber. So another one here, no, this is still, so like I mentioned, there's a other domain, then there's also a like a minus strength. So technically, this will improve control for more on deception, because currently the main problem of deception, if my opponent is too aggro, you were like already dead because you're relying on spells and hidden creatures to do like a board control. And usually that's like the big problem of deception, like the aggressive one. But deception are good versus control. It's their one weakness now is currently a aggro or heavy aggressive opponent. And that's this and they have like a new cards that literally steal strength for your opponent and give it to them, or literally just one for example, letter G mage, it gives minus threat to each enemy creature. So if your opponent played a lot of 1/1, it become like a 0/1, and that's like a like will you will not worry about the damage anymore. Another one, this the Shadow Backstabber, still one strength, and as you can see, it's an echo. If you don't know, echo is something like once you play this card, you will get a another card where it's also a one casting cost 1/1, and he has the ability like the roar, and it will be a soulsless. Means if that dies, it will not goes to void. Okay. So as you can see, so Shadow Backstabber, uh we have also Blade Borrower here, like where you see Echo -2 strength. So a little bit like an aggressive. You can be an aggressive while like you're like lowering the strength of your opponent, especially on the early rounds. Uh and then I think one of like the big combo here, appeal to mercy, where I mentioned uh so like for example, the Lady of Whisper, I mentioned about the other domain. So as you can see, you will summon a lot of other domain, summon like Appeal to Mercy, where you summon two wars, and then you have some cards also like the uh, Appeal to Mercy, Aspect Juggler, where you summon a creature again with other domain. And then the more you do that one on early rounds, I think the main big combo on there is like on turn 4, once you play this one, it will get +1. Imagine if you have like 3 with other domain cards in the board already before turn 4, and on your turn 4, cast this one, he will get +3/+3. Okay? So this is like a forecasting cost 7/7. So I think this is like technically what are like they're like planning, be an aggressive of but using other domain. And this is like good combo with Pickpocket and Luja's Dedicant. We know Pickpocket can steal cards from your opponent's hand. I copy a card from opponent's hand, and Luja's Dedicant copy from the from the deck, which is if that's a creature, that will be great. So one thing I noticed, like in the Mortal Judgment, they having this 5 casting cost buff, and this is like for the armory haste, and this is like similar with the prayer from the core refresh for the light. So they giving each god a version of this 5 casting ghost group buff, and as you can see, give 2 strength to each of your creature and -2 strength to each enemy creature. So this is like a buff and AOE at the same time. So imagine you have like a dual AOE now for Deception, Armory Haste, and also Rapture Dance. Okay. And now one thing like I highlight modes here, like if you're gonna tell me like what I like here is the Corrupting Influence. Where is that? Corrupting Influence. This is like one of the strong one. As you can see, randomly two summon 2/1 creature from another domain, then tempt fate and apply buff to both of those creatures. So for 2 casting costs, you may get a 1 casting cost creature, and then buff it with the template. And the good thing is that this one will also work with the Lady of Whisper here. Uh, protective local is also nice. Imagine this one, Echo, give +1/+1 to the weakest creature. So something like a buff for your own, but for your weakest. So majority, if you have like a 1/1, it will become a 2/2. And the good thing about this one, it has echo, means you have like a copy of this ability with a 1/1 creature. And then I think the armory haste. Where is the armory haste? So the armor haze, so yeah, this is like the one I mentioned. So this armor haze, corrupting influence, and even protective local are literally good in any aggro deck one. And for the legendary, majority of those legendary are sync with also with the 20-sided maze. This is more on the other domain meta, and as you can see, this creature's strength to the strongest and give it to the weakest. But this one also work with another domain, and then this one is also add 1 mana war creature to your hand. So they're like more on other domain. So that's like the I think this is like more on a deception aggro which is has a theme of other domain, like stealing one casting cost. And FYI, that was casting cost. It can be like, if that's other domain like nature, you might get 1-4, 1-3, 2-2. It's a broad range. 2-2, 3-1, or and such. Okay, so it's just not like only a one casting cost 1-1. No, it might be a different ranges. It might be also a 0-1 or a 1-1. Now let's go for death. Death, I think the new meta for death will be Anubian in this one. So in Divine Order expansion, it's more about zombies. But in death, this is like literally a Nubian version. And there are like a new spells that rely work around here. So the first thing that I have to discuss is the Pharaoh's Heirloom. So technically, this first Heirloom, I summon a 1-1 Wretched Vanguard. Probably this is an Anubian. And also, if you empower this one, also summon a 2-2. So you can have like a either a 2-1 or two creature at the same time by empower. Okay, so the good thing is you can have a multiple copy of Pharaoh's Heirloom because there are like some creatures that rely on empower. So empower means uh if you add additional casting cost, you will get extra ability or get extra cards. So for example, this one, draw 2 card, but if you make it a 5 casting cost, you will get also a Pharaoh's Heirloom. And as you can notice, there are like total of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards that can generate a Pharaoh's Heirloom. Majority by empower, and I think 1 card for afterlife. And the main reason for that one is I think there's like a Pharaoh Heirloom Anubian combo. At the end of the day, if you check the at the one of the gods here, the Kuram of the Pharaoh's Pass deals 2 damage to a random enemy. Repeat this for each Pharaoh's Heirloom in your void. So technically, we have like multiple cards that can generate Heirloom, and multiple different cards. So technically, if you have like 2 perk deck, you can like literally high chance on turn 7 you might have like a 10 Pharaoh's Heirloom in your void. 10, and that's technically a 20 damage that you can like spread out with your opponent, either creature and a character or even god itself. Okay, so let's do a quick run there. Like for example, this one, Heirloom here. I think I like the Big Bony. So Big Bony, they have 5, 6. So if you want a Heirloom, you need a 6 casting cost. Uh, there's also another one, 2 here for destroy. For the creature one, 4 casting costs. And power 1 means if you want an Heirloom, you need 5 casting costs. There also like a 3 casting cost. So technically, there's like a every casting cost. So I think the lowest I see is like a 2 casting cost here. Let's check. Where check is the Hand of the Abyss. The Hand of the Abyss is a 2 casting cost. So this is the Vile River. A Blitz 1-1 with burn. Ito, Hand of the Abyss. Imagine it's a 2-2. Pull a random 1 mana Anubian from your deck, but empower 1, add a Pharaoh. So if you cast him for 3 casting costs, you will have Heirloom. So this is like the smallest. So there are like 2 casting costs, 3 casting costs, 4 casting costs, and 5 casting costs. That if you do an empower, you will get a Pharaoh. So technically, this will be a new meta, a Nubian Pharaoh's Heirloom combo. And one of the new an OP relic that I see is the Beacon of the Dam. This is like similar to the Necroscepter, but instead of summoning zombie, it's like getting a 1-1, like a 1 casting cost Anubian from your board into your deck. So like it's like generating on that one. And the good combo of Beacon of the Dam here is like literally more of your for example, this one, like I said, over the line, this is like their group buff, but instead of group buff, they do a group attack. Like you can like attack twice, but -1, -1. So if I have like a lots of 2-2 or 4-4, once I attack it, cast this one, I can attack it again. But -1, -1. Land of the Dead, select up to 6 mana, 1 mana Anubian from your void. So it's more literally resurrecting Anubia, like an infinite Anubian here. Okay, that's like the meta that I'm seeing majority for the death. A Nubian meta for the death. So now let's go for light. So the current meta now for light is more on aggro. Aggro, or sometimes the mid range with the Zealous March, but literally you're casting a creature and buff it and then group buff it. I believe this is like also the same meta here. And as you can see, there are like multiple cards there that I really like. So so for example, this one, Intimidating Uplifter. We already have Militant Theist. But this one, if you do empower, 3 casting cost 2/2, it gives +1, +2. So think of it, it's like also another militant theist here. Good for VAP. This one is nice weapon, alternative to do a control. Instead of like, if you attack this creature, that creature will lose -2 strength. So if imagine your opponent, if your opponent has a guild enforcer, right? And we all know a guild enforcer is hard to kill as a light. If I attack that down with the weapon, I will receive 3 damage, but that guild enforcer will become 1/4, like -2 strength. And if I attack it next turn again, it might have like a 0 attack. Same thing if we go do the same thing versus a Pyramid Warden. Imagine Pyramid Warden, I attack with this weapon, it become a 0/6. And FYI, this has like a 4 for durability. I can like do it 4 times. So one thing that I noticed about if that is more on empower, there are also lots of echo in here in the light. And as you can see, echo that either summon or buff. So either he flood the board or buff the creature. That's what I'm noticing majority. There are also like an empower where you summon additional one, and there's also an echo where you summon a more creature in there, and they're like echo that buff. So one thing, for example, this one echo give +1/+1 to a friendly creature, then you will get a copy of that one with 1 casting cost, like a guild and like a shield bearer. They can do also a +1/+1 again. So multiple cards. Give -5 strength to a creature and remove frontline from it. Good for guild enforcer. Echo protect. Imagine I can cast a 2/1 with protect. I can cast it again. So this is like one of my favorite cards, like home guard, the elastic one, even the anything that buff, also good for the current meta for the aggro. And the good thing is about like the light now, they have an AoE now. Before we don't have an AoE, but this one they have like a 2 casting cost, give -1/-1 and sourceless. So technically it also affect you, but this is just in case like you get outnumbered here. And what I like also is the chaining of the gods, where it's like a forecasting cost prayer, but like it's give +1/+1, and you can like either select, because this select two, of course automatically you will select for each creature gain +1/+1 if you are a lot of creature. But if you only have like a single creature and your opponent has a one big single creature also, you can either choose this one. Strongest creature get -3, and your weakest creature gets 2/3 if you have like a single creature only. But if you have like board, you can select both. The weakest creature gets +2/+3 and buff +1/+1 to everyone. So this is like a powerful one. And on the 6th card, this is also an OP one because it's a 6 casting cost 5/7. Hard to kill. And if nobody killed this one, I can like summon a like a one cast, like even the Acolyte. Every time I summon, I draw a card. So this is like a good front line. And even the Testor Grieving. So majority of the legendary in light are so OP here. One thing that is that what I like here that is non-legendary are the Proud Protector. I like this one because it's an echo. If this is good, so for example, I have like a 1/1, let's say Vexing Viscount, 1/1 with Protect. I can swap with Vexing Viscount, and I can attack on that turn because remember we don't have Blitz, and this is like a good source of damage for light one. It's like swap, attack, and he become now the new Vexing, and then you will get the same Echo card in your hand that you can use against like a 4/8 or like a Guild Enforcer. Oh, you play in Guild Enforcer, I have this one casting cost 1/1 that I can swap strength with you, because this is, as the roar mentioned here, this creature swaps strength with another creature. So it means like I'm not quite sure if like I can target it. So the big question is this like a random, or if I selected, because this creature swap threat with another creature. It doesn't mention about uh, swap creature with your target creature. I don't know, but this is like a good one. Especially if they're like a big creature and you need to uh, lower it. So I wish that you can target on this one. It's not literally clear. Like it doesn't mention random. It doesn't mention a target. So this creature swaps strength with another creature. That's it. Do you think it's a random? Let me know. Comment about there. But I feel like if you can select, this is nice. I can combo it with my switch it for my Vexan or my 2-1 to become 4-1, and I can attack it because it's like a switching. But if this is random, I think this is like a dead card. That's like my one. So I like this one, Home Guard, a 2-1 with Protect, and even the chaining and even the legendary. So now we go now for war. War is more about Olympian and Viking. One thing that I noticed, like majority of the Olympian here has empower. Empower means increased stats or additional ability. That's it. Like that's what I'm like noticing. That's nothing I can say. Like you can like mix and match it for your war aggro control, and that's what I noticed. Like you see Olympian 6 casting cost 7/6, but if I got uh like 9 casting cost, give plus 7% to this creature. So it's like an empower. 6 casting cost, empower, temp fate, additional one. So it's more on empower and temp fate that I majority see from the war here. Like blitz, template, empower, and more empower. And I noticed like there's like some cards that can reduce the casting cost on those empowered creature. Like okay, if this is like a 5 casting cost, if I play this one, it will become 4 casting cost now. So something on those one. And then even the legendary sync with the template, the template and the empower. And one thing, if you notice, if you have like 100 favor, this is like probably a new meta for the war control. Like if I got a 100 favor, I just win the game. So this is like a good so technically your goal must be like control the board, and once I reach 100, then GG already, game over. So who knows, there are lots of like a favor generator cards in Trial of the Gods. We can like combine it with the divine with the mortal judgment, and who knows, especially blessed, if you have a lot of card that generate bless, like for example like the one casting cost Aether, the 2/2 that can once it comes into play, either gain, so you literally use the blessed card to gain more favor. I think this is like one of the uh good for it. But be careful, there are also a blessed card where you can like combine all the favor and split it with your opponent, or minus bless. So this might be like more on a bless war with the war control. Okay, so that's what I noticed. Weapon and creature has empower. Okay, and that will be like a new aggro where you can be aggressive late turn, and if in late turn still survive, you will just empower it. So magic, I feel excited about magic because it will be more on spell boost. There are lots of creatures that has spell boost, technically two that give spell boost with echo. So for example, this one to cast, then you will get another spell boost. Imagine in 2 mana you get plus spell boost plus 2, and there are a lot of spells that deals damage. Deals damage means to character, even to creature or to god. So for example, this one, surpassing blast. Imagine if I have spell boost, I play this one, the surpassing blast, and even the reject dogma deals for damage. It means uh I can like do a lot of spell, just like draw and spell boost and spell. So remember the days we have like a tempo spell boost where at the very beginning we control the board, and then later we use a lot of spells to kill our opponent. So I believe this will be that meta for the magic. And uh yeah, so what are the other like the other spell boost one? For example, the bold scholar. Imagine echo, and then you will get a 1/1 copy of it with one casting cost. Still spell boost. So technically you have like a lot of spell boosts from Academy Apprentice into Bold Scholar. And then there are lots of echo cards here, and there are like a lots of cards that deals damage. For example, like I mentioned, uh, the Surpassing Blast, the Reject Dogma, and even the 5 casting cost Unbound Flame. Imagine deals 5, and then you can use AoE at the same time if everything goes well. Like 5, add 2 mana, you have like a Flame Strike already. And then on the gods, I think the gods is not that strong, but the epic card, the immaterialize is very powerful. Imagine if I have like a Dralamar, I can split Dralamar casting cost from 7 casting cost into 4 casting cost. Because like I said, and then get another copy of Dralamar. Means I can play Dralamar now in 4 turn. Imagine this one. Or I can like if I have a Demogorgon, I can have split it into 2. I have like a baby Demogorgon but still use the same ability, sleep, and deals 3 damage to those sleep creature. I can have multiple, or Cersei, or even the Frey. Frey, remember Frey, it's 8 casting cost. Once I cast him, I will draw cards and then reduce it casting cost. I can like make it a like 2 copy with low casting cost. So I think Immaterialize will be like a new meta deck for Magic aside from spell boost. Okay, for nature, there are like 2 faction here, Wild and Amazon. Technically, there are like 8 Amazon cards and total of 12 wild creatures here. And as you can see, there are like either Template and Echo. Template and Echo. And I think there's not enough Empower here. It's more on Echo and Template. So if you're gonna highlight overall, I like the legendaries are all good. Especially the Dagon, the Silk Spite, and even Dahlia. And this is like the buff, a group buff for nature. Give 2 of the following each: 2 strength, 1/1, or 1 health regen. If you're gonna ask me if everything is flooded with creature to do and I gonna do a trade, I will go for +1/+1 and +1 health, and then heal them for 2. Or if I gonna go for lethal, I just go for 2 strength here. And there's like a good combination of Amazon. I noticed majority of the good Amazon here are like forecasting costs. Like here, forecasting cost Amazon. There are like some 3 casting cost Amazon. But majority I see is like 4 casting cost Amazon here. There are like also a good even like another version of Marshwalker, Injured Sprout, even another one from Loam Strider. They're like a variation of Marshwalker here. But technically, I believe it will also improve Amazon and Wild at the same. So technically, if we combine this one with the existing meta, either we have like a new version of Amazon or a new version of a mid-range. A mid-range where we can like add more. So if I'm gonna ask uh what will be like the best cards here, like the Nemesis Swap. This is 2 cards that I like here. They're like under brush bore. Like for example, Nemesis Swap, Time Fate, 3 to cast 3/3. At the start of your turn, this creature attack a random valid target. So think of it like another under brush bore, the cheaper version. Then also in Amazon, Echo. Give 2 strength to this creature, then it attacks a random enemy character. So similar with the underbrush bore, now you have like a Amazon version on this one. So this is what like I notice here. This like there are lots of Amazon with Echo. I think will sync up with the existing Amazon, but I believe the meta you can have both at the same time, like a combination. Because I think it's not bad to have, because some of the Amazon ability here and Wild ability, it does not just target Amazon or Wild, it target anything, even like a neutral or a non-faction one. Like for example, this one, and it's in Amazon. After this creature attack, give +2 strength to a random other flying creature. It does not mention like give 2 strength to an Amazon or give 2 strength to other wild. So we can have like a combination, or we can like be a more specific like for Amazon, we can like be specific Amazon, or we can like have a combine. Okay, that's like the good thing about in the nature here. Next is the neutral. So technically on the neutral, this is like filler. But what I noticed, the most OP on this one are the legendaries. For example, the series here, the legendaries. If you're like a echo heavy deck, like light, magic, or even like nature, you can like play him because when you play a card with echo, refresh 1 mana. And remember, every time you play a creature, you refresh a mana. Remember, the echo equivalent is 1 casting cost 1/1. So if you play this one, then followed by echo, you have a free echo card, double one. The Helma is OP 7 to cast 2/9. This is like for me it's like a Demogorgon, but instead of like sleeping, you just heal. Majority of your after a friendly character is healed, this creature gains threat equal to the amount healed. Okay, it can be a this and it has frontline. It can be a 9/9 or anything, but automatically, the good thing about each friendly character is healed for 3. That include your HP. So imagine I cast this one, I heal 3 already, and I heal majority of my creature. Like I said, friendly character is mentioned here. Another one that is so strong, I believe, is the uh, or the Kaya. Kaya is so OP because at the end of your turn, so if I cast him and deals damage equal to your spent mana gems, split randomly among all enemy character. So this is like the hunt, a legendary creature, the hunt. Like, but FYI, the difference between the hunt and this one, it split randomly with a character. It means it might also split with the HP of your opponent. Okay, and this is only 6. At the very beginning 6, but on next turn, if you manage to use 7 and still alive, you will do 7 damage. Now, if you play this one and your opponent has no creature at the board, he will absorb the 6 damage. Okay, this is like one, I think this is like a must have in any deck. Control and aggro at the same time. Uh, the Helma might be on the control series on depending on if you're like echo heavy. And one thing that I like, one of like here is there are like two ability creature, the Pulse of Nemesis and Gariel Pool. Summon a copy. Gariel double the strength and health, and because they have like low casting cost, it can be played by any deck. FYI, the only downside, this is an ability, means I have to cast him and wait for my next turn to use the ability because ability is affected by summoning sickness. So that's it, guys. So I just did a quick review on overall, and if you have like questions, suggestion, kindly please leave me a comment. And if you like the video, can please subscribe and like. And thank you for watching.
There's a distance between us. It's getting hard to reach.